Mazda LM55 VGT high performance concept car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to OpaFed Gaming. You're listening to the OpaFed. Today we're driving a Mazda LM55 VGT in a Gr.1 Prototype Series race. We're driving it at the Fiji International Speedway. We're doing 10 laps. We started 20th of 20 cars and we started with a rolling start. Now we all know that we're not going to be able to do all 10 laps of one tank, at least the Mazda won't. So we're going to have to figure out when we're going to want to go in for a fuel up, top up. Now what I normally do in a race like this is I take the first lap and just kind of re-familiarize myself with the track, remembering where I can hammer down and where I got to slow down. And as I come around and finish the first lap, I like to take a look and see exactly where the pit entrance is and where the pit exit is. Just to make sure I know where they are so that I know where to turn off when I need more fuel. I hate to pass it by when I'm almost running out. Anyhow, it's always good to know where you come out of the pit too, to make sure if you can hammer down or if there's a corner coming up. So let's keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, as you're going around the track, if you got the opportunity, pass a car here and there if you can. Now the lap is going to end over here and the pit entrance is on the right hand side, right about here. You can see the pit lane there and it goes in over here. Then it comes out just a little ways down the end here, right about here, where you can see the line, but you can also tell that there's a corner right coming up. So remember, when you come out of the pit, be careful, don't hammer down too hard, because you got to turn right as soon as you come out of the pit stop. So that's one lap gone. We're on to our second one. Now we got to figure out when do we want to go in for fuel. And usually the best approach that I like to take is just split it down the middle. I know that we can do 5 laps, and if there's a problem we had to go 6, we can do that too. So, but I'm not too sure if we can do all 10. So let's go in for fuel after the 5th lap and then do the last 5, and then we can change the tires at the same time. I mean, we won't know how badly worn our tires are until we get there, but for the few extra seconds that it takes to get fresh tires on there, you're better off to do that than to try and run 10 laps on one set of tires. You don't want to do that. So we'll do that. We'll change the tires and fuel it up and go from there. Now we're just battling like crazy where some of these guys were trying to power around the outside of them is almost impossible. You can do it sometimes, but it's really, really tough. So as we're coming around the corner here, we are finishing our second lap. The straights is where we got a little bit of extra power. The corners is a little bit more even, a little bit tighter. So when we do get on a straight, we're going to hammer down as hard as we can, just to try and get some sort of an increase in lead, which is not going to happen because you're not going to pass 19 cars in 1 or 2 laps, but improve your position and get a little bit closer to the front. So when you're doing that, then you're moving ahead in the race, which is what I like to do. And hopefully by the 5th lap, we can be around, say, position number 11 or 12. That will be kind of nice, or 10, be about halfway through the pack. Anyhow, we're in our 3rd lap here, partially through it, and things are looking good. We've been passing a few cars here and there, slowly catching up to the next one, and trying to find a way to get around them. Everything is looking pretty good. We got, after this lap, we got 2 more to go before we fuel. There, we're catching up to these guys. We'll get these 2 here up by the grandstand. It's pretty tough catching through these corners, you know. Like I said, if you want to get by me, you almost have to power around the outside or sneak by the inside, and they just go too fast to do that. So here the lap number 3 is coming to an end, and it's starting to look like it's getting a little bit extra growly out there. There seems to be a few extra clouds rolling in. Now, we can. This is our fourth lap, so after this lap, we'll just have to play it by ear. We'll just race this lap, and we'll see where we're at when we get close to the end of this lap. But we gotta make up our minds quickly, because if the weather turns, we might not be able to. If we go into our fifth lap, we might not be able to finish it. So let's wait and see what happens. But it's not looking good. Now we got another guy on the track there in front of us. Let's see if we can catch up to him at least. Get a little bit closer. Okay, here we go. Oh, the wipers are going. Oh, no. That's way too much rain coming down. Now we got to go in. We got to go in and change those tires, because that's not looking good. That doesn't look like it's going to let up right away either. So this is 4 laps, and we might be smart to go in and change those tires now and fuel up whatever fuel we can use, and then see what happens after that. We're going to have to play it by ear. It kind of messed with our strategy, but we're going to go and change these tires. I think they're the best thing to do. Now you got to be careful when you're coming into the pits, and when you're leaving. If you cross the pit lines, you'll be assessed a penalty, a time penalty. Now we came in on 4th. The tires were not worn very much, and we're doing okay with the fuel. Now we dropped down to 5th, and everybody behind us is coming in, I see, for tires. We were all driving on medium racing tires, but the 4 in front of me kept going. Well, good luck with that. Here we go, boys. Lap number 5. It looks like we made the right choice. It's really coming down out there now. Now you got to remember, when you're out on the track, when it's raining, of course, obviously you need your wets on or your intermediates, one of the two. But even when it stops raining, the track will still be wet, so it'll still be there will still be a need for wet tires, right? You can't just think that just because it stops raining you can take the wets off and start racing again. It doesn't work like that. You have to wait till the track dries up a little bit, and it usually takes about, with sunshine, maybe 2 or 3 laps before it's totally dried. So now it looks like these cars that we're catching up to are one of the 4 or 5 cars that kept going. See, they got no wet tires on, so they're kind of spinning their wheels and they're not getting any traction. Here's 2 more. They're easy to pass that way, I'll tell you that. It's a good thing we changed ours. It doesn't look like, I wasn't even counting all the cars that were there, but I think we might have passed them all, and if so, then that would mean that we're in number 1 position in the race. But we're a long ways from done. Even if we are in number 1 position, that doesn't mean you're going to win. Because I don't know, you see, this is one thing you got to remember. My medium tires in 4 laps wore out very little. But these are wets. I don't know how fast they will wear out. Now I know we can do 2 laps. This is that 2nd lap, because this is lap number 6. But I'm wondering if I can do a couple more and get to maybe 7 and 8 laps. We're gonna give it a shot. We got the fuel to do 4 laps, you know that. We did that already, so we can do 4, 4, and 2. That sounds like a plan. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of competition on the track right now, because if we pass those 4 cars that were in front of us when we were in the pit, then that means we're in front and everybody's behind us. So they're spread out on the track behind us, and we haven't caught up to the last guy yet. Now that might change, of course, when we go back in to change our tires. Cars could be passing us while we're in the pit stop. So it's really, really difficult to figure out exactly where you are until that very last lap and you cross the finish line and you find out whether you're 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or not even on the podium at all. Now As we're coming around the corner here, I would suspect this to be lap number 7 that we just finished. I lost track. The Opafets lost track of the lap number because it was too difficult here, I suppose. But we're just going to keep on racing. We're going to keep on racing until we get to the end of lap number 8. And that's where we're going to go in and change our tires, because we're going to push it. It doesn't look like it's really, really bad. And it looks like it's trying to hold off a little bit. And as you can see, if you look at the track, now you're starting to see the area of the track that the cars drive, rather than the sides where it's really wet. You'll start to see a track that's dry in the middle, you see? And that's where everybody drives. But if you go off that spot, and if you overshoot a corner and you go a little bit to the side, then you're back on a wet track again. Like right here, this is wet track. So anyhow, we're gonna try and catch. Oh, there's a guy up ahead of us there. This guy might be car number 1 as far as we know, because I don't think we passed them all. That looks like a Porsche Spider VGT. And as we're coming up around the corner, I think that was lap number 6 that we were in. I believe that was number 6, and we're going into lap number 7. I am just all messed up, and I should stop counting laps and just concentrate on racing. It doesn't look like the weather's holding up. And just the rain has just slowed down just a tad little bit. And it's stopped for the time being. But like I said, the sides of the track are still wet. This is a pretty growly race, awesome race nevertheless. It's a great car to drive. Really hugs the track like you wouldn't believe. You still have to be a little careful on the corners and let up a little bit, because you don't want to spin out, because this car is a pretty fast car. And you know, other than that though, it drives fantastic. It's a really cool car to drive. But it gets a little lonely when there's no other cars on the track. Now you can go a little faster when there's nobody else around, because you get to use the full width of the track, right? But without anybody else around on the track, it gets a little lonely. Kind of nice to have some other cars battling for a position. But maybe we'll run into some more here shortly. Now, as we're coming around the corner, we're finishing whatever lap it was that we were in. I believe that it is lap number 8, I like to say. Which means that we are now going to go over to the side here, and we are going for another change on tires. We've done 4 laps on the wets, and I don't know how far worn they are. I'm pretty sure we're leading, but we'll find out pretty quick here. Okay, we are in first place with a 25-second lead, and our tires were only not quite half worn, but we did not have enough fuel. So the fuel consumption goes way up with wet tires, and the wear on them goes up too, but the wear wasn't too bad. Now we got 2 laps left to go. We're coming out first place. I saw 2nd and 3rd also went in to get their tires changed, but we're in front of them, and we're already back out on the track, and we've only got 2 laps left to do. Now, any cars that we are going to encounter on the track now are going to be cars that we lapped, because on the display we could see that car number 2 and 3 were just coming into the pits when we were leaving. So, which means that anybody on the track will be a lapped car. And which also means that lapping a car is pretty tough, but it also means that you're going to be driving alone for 2 laps. But that's okay. It's a beautiful track. You know, it's a beautiful car to drive. Oh, little overshooting there in the corner. Pull it back in. But we're just going to enjoy the last 2 laps. We got growly with it, but that's not going to change our mood. We're in a good mood, and we're hoping that we're going to finish this race off in the lead. And we shouldn't have too much of a problem with that. As we're coming around the corner here, we are finishing our 9th lap, and we got 1 more to go. And it looks like the weather is starting to break a little bit, but there's no point in changing tires now. We've only got 1 lap on the wet, so we might as well keep going and finish the race. But it does look like it's starting to break a little bit. A little bit of sunshine is starting to peek through some of the cracks in the clouds. What an absolutely fantastic race. Well, I tell you, if you ever have the opportunity to drive the Mazda LM55 VGT in VR, give it a shot. Give it a shot and you will be pleasantly surprised at how enjoyable it is driving in VR. You'll want to try all the other cars too. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. This race was great. I hope you enjoyed the race. I hope you maybe got some tips and tricks out of the video. Hope to see you back at OpenFed Gaming again real soon. Until then, you've been driving a Mazda LM55 VGT high performance concept car, mostly in the rain, with me, the OpenFed.